So here's the deal, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope. Show's going to begin live here in about 2 minutes. No live video tonight. Live calls, though. Here's the deal. I normally do a 1 hour program, so I'm going to do the 1 hour program. That's going to be the podcast. That's going to go out for all the world to hear. The reason we're doing video tonight is A, further reach, and B, longer content. So not only are you getting the real pre-show right now, which is, pretty cool, and a little bit after the hour show, this will be the complete volume. Well, the audio will come and go, and then we'll bring it back. The full length, original cut is going to be on video tonight on YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook Live. So if you're on any of those platforms right now, please hop over to the duck pond at malliard.com/live. I'm already chatting over there. That's where I'm going to be focused on tonight. But the call-in number will be popping up here when the show goes live. So bear with me another 60 seconds or so until we take this whole thing live. Then, looking forward to talking to you. So welcome to the tonight's Malliard Report. I'm so excited to see everybody, hear from everybody. We're doing live calls tonight, 234-738-2552. Standard tolls rates apply. If you want to call me on Skype, hop over to the duck pond. I'll give you my Skype there. If you have any comments, that is the official place to be. Malliard.com/live. MALLIARD.com/live. Come over. There's a big, pretty little green ad that says join us in the duck pond. Join us on the duck pond tonight, because tonight promises to be one of those shows you're going to wish you were here live compared to podcast. It's live calls. Now, I can guarantee you, before the course of the night's program is over, we will be talking about coronavirus. There's a lot of real-time conspiracy. So what? Before we begin, I must warn everybody, tonight's views and opinions are those of the host and guest, and their opinions. They don't represent any sponsors, simulcasting networks, or anybody else. Let's keep that in mind, right? It's not medical advice either. If somebody calls in and tells me to put onions on my feet to prevent coronavirus, I'm going to hang up on them, and you should too. Got it? Are we clear? That's the ground rules for tonight. Let's keep the quackery, besides the duck, to a low key. Now, if you want to call in and talk some weird stuff, there's a lot of weird stuff going on. That's cool. If you want to call in and talk about Tom Brady leaving the Patriots, that's cool. If you want to call in and talk about anything, these lines are wide open. And as I've told people all day, I have experience doing this, and I foresee a bunch of people wanting to call in. So here's the deal: I'm not going to limit. Most people will give you a few minutes. I'll give you a great deal of time. Okay. Not saying I'm going to give you an hour. I just want to stretch things a little bit tonight. I don't want to feel rushed when we're on the phone, so I'm not going to rush anybody. If we spill over the hour, the podcast will be the hour. The video will be the length and copy forever. That's why we're doing video tonight as well. So, I want to welcome whoever. See, the other part of this is these are unscreened calls because they pop up with the number that you called in on, which is 234-738-2552. Save that number in your phone. You can text me at that number too, by the way. But anyways, enough self-promotion for a few minutes here. Welcome to the Malliard Report. May I ask who's calling? I've been pretty well. How you been? How's Newfoundland handling all this? I was gonna say it's either the safest place to be or the scariest place to be when there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. How am I doing with all this? I am doing all right with all this. It's just all the other peripheral stuff that goes with it, right? I don't watch a lot of news anymore. Of course, I haven't watched news for years, so that's not exactly new. So it's not read the witness that way. That's not new. But the funny part is, right, I've got websites devoted to A, the coronavirus, and B, news. So I do consume the news, but I consume it much differently than 99% of the world. So there's that. I also have to manage that, right? But the good news is when you create these websites, I can walk away from them. I don't have to sit there and watch them for hours and hours on end, which is good news. And I think that's the part we need to encourage people to consume and then walk away. And the hard part is Facebook. I was listening. I can't remember who I was. I've been listening to a lot of TED Talks and a lot of motivational and business stuff. Facebook, we used to read the paper, right, and it'd go away. Yesterday's news was yesterday's news. Today, with Facebook and how they have their feed going, that news doesn't go away, and then, you could be sitting there, and, one story from Monday will be there, and one story from today, or one story from, and then you go down and there's a story from Thursday. And you just keep going through the cycle, and you go, it's really apparent right now, as news, continuously changes, how bad their algorithm is.
God, before they closed the border here, and now she has to self quarantine for 2 weeks. So I can't see my mom. I'm all sad about that. She makes really, really good cake. I'm upset. And then we had our own trip and stuff booked for next Monday. We had to cancel, which in the grand scheme of things is not a great big deal. I just see the way of life and everything like that. It's literally like everyone's being put on pause. If this was a video game, we're at the we're at the final boss here, and you're hitting pause to take a break. That's what it feels like.
Well, I guess we should mention David Perrodin, Dr. David Perrodin, the safety doctor, did a live show. Oh, goodness, it's been a week ago now, or 6 days ago, as this airs live on Tuesdays. He did his on Wednesday, I believe, comparing the differences between 9/11 and this virus outbreak and how things have been similar but different. He did very well in a non-conspiratorial manner, which is a good way to go about this. I mean, I'm sure there'll be some conspiracy before the end of the evening, but
I don't know, man. The the biggest conspiracy in my world is the New World Order. This idea that there's a government behind the scenes pulling the strings, all this stuff. But if they're really trying to reunite the world in like one world bank and one world order, the last thing they want to do is close the borders and have everyone sectioned off. So I don't know, man. I'm not really buying the conspiracy theory on this. You know, if it comes out that this was something that was, you know, escaped from a facility or something that was doing tests and things like that, yeah, I'd probably be on board with that. That'd probably make more sense. But no, man, like, I'm telling you, they've kind of documented this. Have you heard much about Patient 31 yet? Have you read about this?
Which one's that?
Okay,
I've read so much stuff 31, in the last 24 hours.
So basically, it was this woman who visited a couple of different places, and she's basically, unbeknownst to her, was responsible for over 1,000 infections because she visited a couple of different places. She went to a church. She went to a couple of different places. You know what I mean? Like, it just goes to show you how fast this thing spreads. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I just feel like in our hearts, though, once the initial threat of all this is gone, and we all realize that we're doing everything we can to contain, and we're all looking after each other, I think it's important, you know, as entertainers, now's the time for people to come together and get out there and reach out to their social media and their buddies and stuff like that and check in on them, right? I feel, too, like this is, you know, I'm a pretty religious guy. I'm a pretty spiritual guy. I got a feel in my heart like there's a greater purpose behind everything that goes on. And, you know, I don't know what the hell is going on with all this. There's so much disruption in the world right now. Man, oh, man, oh, man. All I can say is I'm glad that there's a community out there of paranormal nuts like myself and you who are, you know, we've been kind of getting ready for this kind of stuff. Believe it or not, like we've been talking about this stuff for years and years and years, and now it finally happens and we're seeing it, you know, in real time. It's just really surreal, Jim.
As I say, we could take this one of two ways, right? This is the new world, the Amazon, the less actual human interaction part, right? We could play that out. We could play that down that way, or we could play it the other way. When this all breaks, we can enjoy more people because of this.
Yep.
Right? We could take that either way.
I'll be honest with you, I threw my back out yesterday, so I've been kind of bedridden, which is another reason why I wanted to call in, because I'm bored to death and I miss you, old friend. But there's the other part of this, too, where this amount of rest and this amount of time spent with our families, this forced break, I'm wondering, you know, if this is not going to just have a complete and total influx of just new content, new things, new people, new ideas. Like, I can really see this changing. The last time, I remember something similar happened to this before. Remember there was that big Hollywood, what was it, strike or walkout or something years ago? Can you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
I remember how, like, suddenly we had stuff like the freaking Office getting wrote, and we had stuff like Captain Hammer. Like, come on, Captain Hammer was awesome. Like, I'm just hoping that break is a much needed infusion of creativity for a lot of people. This is gonna start to turn into a positive thing very soon. I just know right now it's dark days for a lot of people, right? Especially since this is so bizarre. I mean, since when is there something that only targets the older population and leaves the kids alone? You know what I mean?
For now.
It's kind of weird. So has there been any children infected with this yet?
A couple that I've seen.
Okay, yeah. So they're not immune. It's just not. Their immune systems are tough enough to take it.
Yeah, not nearly on the scale. So okay.
God, are they going to? So what do you think is going to go on with all this thing? Like, can you see this being a couple of months, Jim?
I can see this literally being until June.
Yeah.
Which scares the living pants out of me.
Yeah, I mean, we both have a lot of kids. I have a lot of foster kids that come through here. So, oh my God, I'm about to get really busy really fast, I think. And all I'm going to say is I'm going to say the same thing that I said to a couple of other of my buddies who are within the realm of the paranormal, who are doing a podcast and stuff like that. Whenever you guys have live shows, I'm going to call in and let you guys know how things are going over here. I am in the most easterly point in Canada, so, you know, it gives you an idea of what's going on globally, really, right?
Yeah.
You know, as we get to Newfoundland, we're kind of, you can't go no further than this, but I'll get to Ireland. By the way, happy St. Patty's Day to y'all.
Yeah, I was going to say, unfortunately, when I scheduled this months ago, St. Patrick's Day was the note, right? Live calls, happy St. Patrick's Day. Let's have a great time.
Yeah, I know, man. And listen, I just haven't got the heart to drink. I don't have the heart to drink. I will say this, though. I'm really high on Adderall, so I guess we can just celebrate with that way. Diddle-dee-dee.
I was gonna say you don't need to have the heart to drink; you just need to have the liver. But that's a whole other
Yeah,
conversation.
true. I really shouldn't be doing that, though. Not with this many narcotics in my body for my back. You know, Jim, you're one of the few out there who reach out to me every now and then just to check in and see how I am, and I always appreciate that. So I just thought I'd return the favor tonight. I'm hoping that a lot of people call in, man, and you have yourself a great show. And, it's good to see the Malliard Report is alive and well, even within the corona outbreak.
At least so far, so good. So, hey, it's good to hear from you on the Newfoundland podcast. All the fine podcast apps have it. If you need it, let me know. I'll point you to the direction.
All right, sir. Thanks so much. You take care, and see you later, all the other ducklings out there, guys. Keep on quacking. Don't let your head sag down now. Now, just take a big deep breath. Let your chin come up. Look up to the sky, and this will pass eventually. And never a better time to turn off the news and to turn on podcasts and get lost in familiar voices that are not about this. So you take care, Jim. Have a great night.
You too. Cisco, shut up. You kind of missed the beginning of the show. That's the fun part of this. As I'm bringing people in, I've already said that the show's going to go over an hour tonight. I have that gut feeling because everybody I've talked to that said I'm doing a live call-in show tonight says save time for me. So I'm saving time for everybody. So if this show goes however long it goes, I want to welcome whoever just called into the Malliard Report. How are we doing tonight?
Jim, how you doing, brother? This is Chuck Banks.
Chuck, how are you doing?
Hey, you're not doing too bad. We're kind of hunkered down here in southeast Iowa. Things are chaotic, but other than that, just trying to get rid of that anxious anxiety that's going around the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, let's dive into what you do, right? Because we kind of talked a little bit of entertainment with John. I know you're a sports guy. What in the hell is going on? Sports is supposed to be this great. This sports is supposed to be this great diversion, right?
Yeah, this is one of the saddest times. I look back in the 20 years that I've been teaching and coaching, and buddy, this is one of the saddest times. But at the end of the day, the best thing to do is to stay away from it, I guess. We're actually out here in southeast Iowa until about April 14th. We're going to be doing online instruction. But other than that, I have revamped, my podcasting, coaching, culture, and athletics, and we're still rolling along and trying to get rid of the boredom. As coaches, we're always trying to go at it and always trying to get better. But there's just not much out there right now.
I was gonna say that's gonna be tough, but I mean, there's always something to talk about. I mean. You guys go back a few years and you can just dig. I mean, there's always content, but it's not easy to create right now. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Tom Brady going to the Buccaneers, so that makes me think that maybe Jameis Winston's going to be out. Maybe he'll be a Charger, or you think Cam Newton's going to the Bears?
I don't know. I was kind of surprised. I mean, is he really that good of a quarterback? I mean, I haven't paid attention to the league that much, but I'm still aware. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't see. I mean, he had that solid run, but after that, it's kind of fallen flat. I could be totally wrong. Like I said, I don't pay that much attention.
Well, you look at Cam's career. He has been up and down. He's got flashes of brilliance, but then he'll screw up or get. He's kind of injury prone at this point in his career. But I see a Jameis Winston or a Cam Newton as a positive in Chicago because they kind of run that. That Kansas City style offense, where, if you get kind of a mobile quarterback, that's going to benefit him in the long run.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I think I look at my quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger. I think we need to get younger there. But I don't know if we need to make one of these lateral moves to a Cam Newton or Teddy Bridgewater or any of those, but I think we need to find somebody in a big way. What about drafting Jake Fromm? At Georgia. He would be a great quarterback in your system. Yeah, I can't remember who it was with, but they were talking about Aaron Rodgers having to sit behind Brett Favre for a couple of years and how good that was for him. So,
absolutely.
So
what? Go ahead.
So what? I think I seen you say this, but I don't remember the answer because I've been consuming everything I can consume in my free time for the last 24 hours about the virus and just everything I can just to be ready for tonight's show, which is as you can see, it's going to be all over the place. So I'm glad I did. But I think I seen you saying we're not going to see baseball until June. Was that you?
Yeah. Over the course of the last, about 10 days, baseball, has been meeting. I'm actually kind of a baseball geek, so it's my favorite sport. It is what it is. But when you look at most of the traffic that's being stated right now, and with the commissioner, this, that, and the other, it looks like the earliest possibility would be June 1st. But I'm almost seeing this. Potentially, going into the middle of June. And they're actually right now talking about doing a limited schedule, maybe 80 to 85 games. So this is going to be a crazy year.
And dang, because I remember a few weeks ago I got sent free home tickets to the Pirates. Well, for every adult they can bring a free kid, right? For April and May, and they just wiped that off the face of the earth.
Oh man, it's always something, It's always something. But when you as a coach, you drive by these schools here, in Iowa or throughout the United States, you see these empty classrooms, this, that, and the other. But I just want to throw this out there to all those athletes that are going to be listening. Keep your head up. Continue to work out, whether it's at home, whatever. And definitely, this is important, Jim. I think everybody should reach out to their strong friends out there, because a lot of times the strong friends are the ones that are going through their anxiety episodes even more so.
Yeah, it's hitting everybody, so you just got to be a good friend at this point. Or
Absolutely.
even a good, I got air quotes going here, good friend. To people you don't necessarily care about, but you should. That's a whole other conversation, though.
Absolutely. But I'm not going to put on my tinfoil hat yet and say that this is a conspiracy, this, that, and the other. But as a someone who has a political science major, I can see things, the way they're going. You see certain states, making proclamations, day before the other states are making them, and you can kind of see the writing on the wall. Where this is going to be something that if people can't handle, the minor rules and stipulations that are being thrown out there, or recommendations, this is going to get ugly. And folks just need to hunker down. I can't believe I'm saying this, Jim. Listen to your government officials just for once, for a couple weeks, and we'll see if we can't get this thing whipped.
Wow, that's breaking news here on the Malliard Report. I don't think anybody's ever said that.
Especially me, right? The conspiracy guy.
Well, I was going to say, this conspiracy guy agrees with you. I mean, take the weeks off, right? Just chill.
Yeah. Shut it down. As far as Donald Trump, don't you think that he should just shut down the Dow Jones and the S&P and NASDAQ for a week, just so it'll stay where it's at?
I wish I was smarter on. I don't know if that had more damage or not.
Well, his during his, let's see, the Dow was up about 1,000 points, and then Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, they all break in, and then as Donald Trump's speaking to the Tourism Commission, the Dow literally drops, Jim, 400 points while he's talking to those folks. So I don't even know why they do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's scary. I mean, the thing's scary. Let's see. Honestly, as you're talking to me, I'm looking for a contact to talk to about this Wall Street thing. Oh, he's not online. Of course, it is probably. I cannot call him. It's way early in the morning.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, sometimes you just got to wake people up. It's a quarantine thing.
He might. I'm going to send him a message to see if he is up. Just because I'm curious. He'd know. For sure. He used to be a day trader, so he's very went to Wharton Business School. So he'd be the one.
Absolutely.
Give the information about the show one more time while I'm typing here.
My show?
Yeah.
Okay. I myself, Evan Swanson, we run Coaching Culture and Athletics. You can find us on Twitter at CCA Culture. You can go to Facebook, type in Coaching Culture and Athletics. You can find us on iHeartRadio, iTunes, all that good stuff. We run a live show every Sunday night from 7 p.m. Central to roughly 8 p.m. Central. And we've actually been doing some kind of short 30-minute segments. They're on the Facebook page, the YouTube page, and on Spreaker.
Well, Chuck, thanks for calling in, and good luck with the show. And hopefully we'll get these athletics going one way or the other.
Absolutely, brother. It's always a pleasure to listen to you, especially when you do these. Quack, quack.
Quack, quack, man. Keep it going. Okay, everybody. I hope okay, so the line's open again. I'm apparently going to be getting who I'm talking about here in a second. But if you want to call in now, please feel free to. And that includes Cisco. I don't care how big of a nut you are. It's good to see everybody in the chat room, first and foremost. If anybody wants to call in, I'm sure the number's floating around. As I said earlier, 234-738-2552. Save that number in your phone. You could text me at different points. I won't necessarily answer right away because it's not my personal phone number for obvious reasons. But I do read them often. I want to say hello to everybody who has messaged me or voice messaged me through the course of the... And I've had that number for a long time. So don't worry. It's not going anywhere. Just throwing that all out there, right? Transparency across the board. I'm looking at the chat room and I'm seeing some names I'm surprised aren't buzzing my phone up right now. But that's okay. Because they will. You know how I know? Because I know. So that's all good. And hey, if you have not subscribed to this program, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or Periscope, okay, I can hear you ringing. Hello, welcome to the Malliard Report.
What's up, Duck?
Not a lot. Cisco, right?
That's me, baby.
So you're going to take us down. You're going to take us down the rabbit hole for a minute.
I don't know. I'm tired. I've been jumping in and out of rabbit holes for about 3-4 years now. So rabbit holes are something you got to jump down yourself and think for yourself, research for yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do it
That's
too.
just,
but you're going to push somebody in that direction.
You know, if you're going to hover over one, I might kick you in the butt, knock you down, say go in there and get some of that info. No, the thing is you got to do it for yourself. This is the deal. You know me, Doc. I'm not really conspiracy theories. I'm not into it. Conspiracy facts, hell yeah. You know, I mean, I'm no young person. I've been looking into things for a long time. Obviously, there's some stuff going on behind the scenes they're not telling us. I'm not buying the JFK, narrative that they fed us. I didn't buy it as a kid, So, yeah, I dig, and I'm very interested in having people on the show that, let's talk about it. Let's see what's going on. So right now, I think we've always, people like us and people that are interested in, even if you want to call them true mysteries, like what's happening? 9/11, come on. Something's wrong there. And you start learning to dig and looking at things at multi-level. Maybe some of it's hope porn. Maybe now, maybe something's going to get done. Maybe, we can uncover some layers and really see the horrible stink and crap that, people have been pulling on us, and maybe we will overcome it this time. Who knows? But call it what you want to call it. Right now we're in, I don't want to say a crisis. I mean, the president called it a national emergency. Do I think he's handling it well? Yes, I do. Be glad I'm not in there because I probably would have locked it all down faster. But to stay home so it stops the spread, I believe that everybody's going to look at that with their own vantage point, just like you look at anything, Duck. I don't want to be locked in here with 5 kids, or I can't go to work. Who's going to watch the? everybody's got their own thing that they have to deal with that's going to be ugly about this, and I understand that. I've been in stuff like this before, but I'd much rather do that than stand by another loved one with a bunch of tubes coming out of them praying that they'll get through it. And then everybody's screaming, why didn't somebody do it sooner? I mean, I just had a man die a couple blocks from me, coronavirus. I mean, it's hitting. Now, was it coronavirus? That's what they're saying. I wasn't at his side. I don't know if his kidneys failed, if his heart failed, if he had underlying conditions. I have zero facts on that. All I can tell you is what they're telling us. So what does that mean?
So let's break this down for a few minutes, because this is where it gets interesting. Because, okay, so I had the moment of clarity a week ago, well, I guess 10 days ago, to go out and buy a website and devote it to the coronavirus, because I knew it was going to become a big deal, right? And what I wanted to do was just import news from CBS, ABC, just put all these headlines together so people could read them in well, not quite real time, but close enough to real time, where you could see the chain of events, right? So if anybody out there is listening and wonders where the site is, it's thecoronavirussymptoms.com. Also, it was going to be popular on Google, right? I'm not going to lie. But if you go there, you're going to realize this isn't your average run-of-the-mill clickbait site. You're going to see a lot of news and a little ad for me over here on the side. So let's get that out. That moment of transparency, right? But as you watch the different headlines come in from across the world, especially about the Asian headlines and how they're starting to shift out, and how the European headlines, I mean, my God, what's going on in Italy is just hard to watch. Not being able to treat their elderly people is just phenomenal, in a bad way. Not phenomenal as it's staggering, I guess.
Right.
But I think we get so lost in when we look at our source of news, right? If it's Fox or MSNBC or CNN, we get so narrow focused at times that we lose the big picture on everything else in life, and it loses context. And I think we have to look at that, but I don't want to sit here and say, I know I'm teasing you about being the crazy conspiracy person, because I am, right? And I can see it go, like I said, I can see this going both ways at the end of this, right? We're also now adapted to our technology that we're more heads down and don't care about what's going on around us. Or I can see us all coming out and saying, man, that technology has been a jail for us for the past decade. Put that down. Let's enjoy each other. Now, do I know how that's going to end? I know how it's going to end for some people, and I know how it's going to end for some other people. It's not going to change the whole world, one way or the other. No,
it's not. It's not. And it's sad. I mean, I want to tell you this. I dig everything you just said, and I agree. So I'm riding in my car yesterday. Well, excuse me, 2 days ago, because I was coming back from work. I had got dressed, got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, went into my place of business, and when I got there, I had three managers over a table going, we got to cut people. We just got word. I said, look, I'll go home. I said, I'll tell you what, let's do this great. I said, how many people count on their check here? Raise your hand. Everybody raised their hand. I said, okay, you're scheduled Friday, I'm scheduled Friday. How about I'll go home today, I'll come in Friday, and we both go home with something. Because if you just start, chucking at people's hours, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I could have said, look, I got up at 5 a.m., you feel me? And no, I'm staying. I said, I'd rather get a full day and get just enough money to get my kids' medicine, to get some more food, to pay a little bit on a bill, and let's all work together. I come home on a car drive home. I have a local news person, very respected around here, supposedly, got a call-in show, and a lady calls in right behind somebody that made a lot of sense, and she's screaming. She's, you don't understand. I have 2 kids. She goes, yes, I won't be able to go to work, but I got to stay home. I don't understand why kids can't go to school. Why don't we just let kids go to school so they can get this flu, so they can build up an immunity to it, and then it'll kill itself out just like everything else. And the guy agreed with her. And I'm like, you're out of your mind, lady. I cut it off.
Yeah.
You can't think. You think everybody's going to think like reasonably, Duck. You know? This is insanity. That was an insane phone call and an insane answer.
And that's the key. That's kind of why I wanted you to bring. I knew I could provoke you into coming into this conversation because of right.
So I was laughing. Yeah.
Right, because of I goat you enough, hard enough, you'd come in. But
right.
honestly, if this could change how the things look. I mean, we talk about kids going to school, right? Well, I mean, there's other options. There's hey, anybody who disagrees with this, just turn this program off right now. Smaller class sizes. Just turn this program off.
Yeah.
There's cyber options. Yeah. There's other options that we need to build. We need to build infrastructure for mobility and success for students for when they get sick, and not wait until this happens.
Agreed. I'm watching people panic over the smallest things, and I'm just, are you out of your mind? That's such an easy fix. You know, my neighbor's 80, 85 years old, somewhere in there, maybe a little older, scared to go to the grocery store. Give me a list. Tell me what you want. Let's fix this. Don't panic. Let's fix this. Help your neighbor. You know, you don't have to touch everything. You don't have to go in and put it away. Put it outside the door. Let them get it. If they're scared, and they should be not scared but cautious. This lady wanting to send her kids to school just because it's more convenient for her, so they can get sick. You know, how does she know they're going to get through this? You don't know this virus. If you're not a doctor, if you're not a scientist, I mean, come on now. You know, we don't really know, and I don't know that they do. And I'm honestly, Duck, I don't know that it's the same one. I don't know that it's morphed or it hasn't morphed or, you know, come on. That's an insane thing for a parent to say, send my kids to school. How do you know they don't have an underlying condition and they're going to be one that it attacks more than another? You know, I mean, you have to think of it, you know, honestly here. It's better to be cautious, learn to I say take out stock in board games, because if nothing else, you know, spend time with your kids. What happened to crafting and family time and, you know, giving them stuff to do? They're really going to go crazy if the internet goes down.
Which I sent a couple messages to people like Friday that I was concerned that I wasn't going to be able to do a show tonight because the net would crash.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because all these extra users, I was worried about that. And you want to see
I
people
won't
then,
discount it.
And then you want to see people going nuts?
Yeah. But then again, you're talking to a mom that, you know, unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond my control, you know, I remember many a time, whether it was a storm or just not being able to pay the electric bill or thought the electric bill was paid, found out it wasn't, something like that. You know, we used to do shadow puppet theater on the walls, and, you know, we do so many different things. I mean, what happened to spending time with your kids? You really have to sit across the dinner table and talk to your family, and
I'm not arguing you on that one bit, right?
Yeah. Right.
I'm just saying,
you might have to
for those morons out there who think the device is their babysitter, and then the device goes away.
Oh, 100%. I hope you shut it all down. Shut it down. You know, if that's what it's going to take, I don't know why it would. I don't know if there's some underlying thing going on where the internet might go off. I'm not discounting that. I'm not saying it will or it won't. But if it did, boy, then you'll see panic.
Yeah,
you know, is this something? Is there more to this than meets the eye? I can't tell you it isn't, and I can't tell you it is. What I'm looking at right now is what I can see, and that it started in China. I don't think that they handled it well. It certainly shouldn't have happened around Chinese New Year with all that people going in and out. Do I think it started earlier than that? I think it probably did. Seeing a lot of stuff that says that there was some kind of, it started as early as October with a gathering military, like a Olympics for military out in that direction, and a lot of people were coming home sick. It's possible a lot of us have already had this and didn't know it. Thought we had a bad flu. Do you remember a couple months ago there was a real bad one going around, sore throat and respiratory and stuff. It's possible that we've had this. I don't know. I'm just an herbalist. I'm certainly not a doctor. And I'm sitting here, Duck, going, I know how to fight a cold. I can fight a cold with 3 people sick in my house for 2 weeks because I do it with natural stuff. I do it with garlic. I do it with, other things, vitamin C, organic, natural vitamin C, and things like that. And they all look at me and they get mad at me. And I said, I told you guys to take this. You won't do it. I get that, but I don't know that this is the same type of thing. That's got me not concerned, but it has me thinking, because I don't know that it's a regular virus.
Yeah.
Is that possible? What do you think?
I don't think it is.
I don't either.
I think that's why there's this, I don't want to say panic, but this movement, right? If it was just,
I get you.
If it was a normal quote-unquote thing, I don't think we'd be at this level. But I think somebody knows too much, and that's why we're trying to push it back down.
Yep, I agree. And I don't think it's acting normal. I really don't. Something, not the people around it, the virus or whatever you want to call it, itself.
Yeah.
And I talked to somebody today that's been studying this for years, and they said some things that I agreed with, with that. And I said, well, the only thing I can think of to fight it is make yourself as strong as you can, immune-wise. That's the only thing I know. It's like, okay, just say that you're in a war and you're preparing for the enemy. You've got your bullets, you got your ammo, you've got your weapons, you've got your protection, your foxhole, whatever it may be, your bunker. You know what's coming at you, you know how to fight it. This is a little different, but you've got the same weapons anyway, and that's all you know. So you're going to try. That's how I'm feeling right now. I mean, I knew this 7 weeks ago. I spent every bit of my paycheck that I could spare, and some I couldn't, just going to the grocery store and buying stock up. My husband says to me, I don't know what you're thinking. You're overreacting to this. It's not going to be anything. I said, get out of my way. This is what I'm doing. And I did it. And then I got the next paycheck and I did it again. And then I did it again. And I've been doing this for 7 weeks. He said, you're crazy. Last week, I looked at him. Right before I sprayed him with Lysol and made him wash his hands, I said, are you ready to believe me now? And just like every other one of these things that comes along, anything like this, he said, I'm sorry I didn't believe you sooner. And I mean, that's how we deal with
it. That's the husband-wife thing. I'll just leave it at that.
I didn't believe you sooner. And I said, okay, now go to the grocery store because we need this, 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 and this. Don't touch anything, But but that's all we can do. Right now, this is the situation we're in. This is what I'm thinking. Take care of your children. Take it seriously, because this is the kind of thing that, don't panic. Just, clean your house. Do the normal things you would normally do. If you don't know something, there's a lot of people out there, like they're crazy with the hand sanitizer. You can make your own hand sanitizer, If you can't get 70% and above rubbing alcohol, you go to the liquor store and buy Everclear. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but you can mix it with alcohol, with aloe gel. Make your own. I've made plenty here, But just don't go crazy. You spend time with your family, and don't, get your kids worried. Don't let your kids go out and play, with other kids and stuff like that. If you don't take precautions, if you want to trade, back and forth with families, I don't recommend it, but you got to be really careful. Just imagine you're going to be in the house. You got to take it serious, because the thing is, if you screw this up, you're going to be on the bad side of it, and you're going to be, wishing that you had taken precautions and things like that. Because, like you said, Duck, I think that there's some people out there in charge that know a little more than we do, and err on the side of caution on this one is all I'm saying. You know, don't be like that lady. You know, she'd spent 2 days with her kids at home and she was ready to send them to school. That's nuts. You know, we're supposed to protect our children. You know, and our elderly, think about the elderly. I live in a senior community and everybody around here is scared to death, man. And I'm trying to reassure them, you know. That's it.
Okay, so 2 things. Whoever's been calling, I will get to you. I promised that at the early part of the show. I know there's a lot of people that want to call in. Everybody I talk to today wants to call in, so we're just going to run them succinctly. I'm going to give Cisco another moment here because I want to get her show promoted. So I'll get to you. But before you call in, I've got another caller who I woke up to get on the show. So we're going to do that next. So just hold on a few minutes. I'll tell you when the line's back open, quote unquote. Okay, so Cisco, tell me about your where can people find your show?
Well, it's Journey Through the Gate Paranormal Portal Podcast, and I appreciate that, Duck, and I didn't mean to take up so much time, but
no, you're fine.
Just
like I said, that's kind
calm.
of the. I knew that was going to happen, and that's why I kind of went to the video format, so the long show would be out there, and the hour podcast will go out just like normal. Anyways, enough about why I did what I did tonight.
Yeah, well, you're smart, man, and I'm glad you're doing what you're doing and trying to get some word out there. But it's yes, it's on YouTube, and if anybody's interested, I have episode 51 I just did with a wonderful man named Craig Mason, and we talked a little bit about some of the things that are going on right now in the Great Awakening, and we explain it a little bit carefully, and let you make up your own mind, and there that is. So take care of your families, be careful, be smart out there, take this serious, because if you don't, it's hard to go back and wish you had. So what's it going to hurt? It's 2 weeks, maybe more, but either way, this is something you got to try to take seriously, okay? I love you all.
Take care of yourself, okay?
Bye, baby. Okay.
Okay. So there we go. So like I said, I just put in the message to my friend Andrew Nussbaum, who used to be a day trader on Wall Street. I'm going to get him in here, hopefully. Welcome to the Malliard Report.
Welcome to the Malliard.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Jim.
Got an echo going. You got the player turned down?
Andy here.
Yes, sir.
Hold on one second. How you doing? Hope
pretty good. I'm doing well for now, right? That's all I can say, right, today. The question was raised a little bit ago, and your name jumped to mine, and I wanted to ask, because I'm kind of doing these live calls tonight. I don't even know what time it is where you are, so first I appreciate you, first and foremost. But I know you know the answer to this. Would Wall Street be better off closing for a week to settle the fears, or do they have to Okay, run with it. Tell me why.
Well, after the market closed during the 87 crash, sorry. After the market closed, when was the last time it closed? September 11th, the market closed for a week. And there was so much loss of confidence during that week that the dollar completely got plummeted. So even if the U.S. market closed, the other markets wouldn't close. And when it would reopen, it would be much, much lower, and the whole situation would change. So the markets need to stay open for sure. There needs to be confidence in the markets, that the markets, can handle downturns, etc. Also, in the scheme of things, this isn't so severe. The Dow is still up about 5,000 points since Trump was elected.
So we're good, is what you're telling me, even though it looks horrible right now in the prism of the last 10 days.
The S&P was at 666 at the bottom during the 2009-2008 financial crisis. Now it's at, 2,300. I mean, stocks are still very, very rich. And more importantly, this equity crisis, I mean, I know it's hurting a lot of listeners, et cetera, but on the scheme of things, it's really affecting the rich. It's not affecting the poor in America. The middle class already shrunk because equities completely mushroomed. I mean, the valuations of some of these companies, Microsoft used to be a $20 stock for a long time. It suddenly got to, 150, 160? So things are leveling off. They're trillion-dollar companies, Amazon, et cetera. The price-to-earnings ratios were completely extreme. So I think basically what happened here was the sell-off that was eventually going to happen just happened very, very quickly, very, very rapidly, and it's unlikely to go back for a long time. I mean, once it settles, and it might take a long time to settle, because based on the volatility index, the market should move 5% a day. If it drops 3, 4, or 5 days in a row, 5% of the time, the market will be much lower. But once it settles, everything's good. The market will probably start to go up at 8% annualized basis like it used to go up. But I mean, I think you can kick the 30,000 Dow scenario just, out, because it's probably not going to happen for at least a decade, if it happens in a decade.
So you're telling people to hold?
I think it depends what their age is. I mean, what's going to happen now is you have all these old people who have equities. They see their statements drop. They need cash. They might start to sell. I think it's going to be definitely a stock picker's market where, the entire tide moves the market down, but there'll be these waves that move individual equities up. So you might find companies at ridiculously cheap levels, way below book, companies that will be 10-baggers. For example, during the 2008 financial crisis, some equities like Priceline.com didn't completely fall apart. Equity got to $60, and then it went up to like $1,500 not so long after that. So you will find some outrageously good values in situations when the market drops. You know that when you see things like gold collapsing when it should be going up. I mean, gold could go down because of deflation, but normally it would go up because of this safety vessel that it has. But if gold is going down so much, that probably means that investors are dumping their shares of GLD because of margin calls, dumping GLD. GLD is the ETF that owns a large percentage of the global outstanding gold. They might sell their GLD because they want to keep their Amazon or their Facebook or whatever stock may be. But when you look at all of the markets falling at the same time and all these stocks falling for no reason, ones that aren't linked to the index, aren't in the index funds, etc., many of those will become really good bargains. But I would not recommend buying the S&P for a long, long time until after this settles. Give it at least another year and a half.
I knew you'd be the guy to have the answer, because as soon as it came up, I'm like, I have to find the answer, and I knew that you'd have the answer. What time is it there?
8:30 in the morning. I'm in Southeast Asia, and it's nice here.
So I guess since you're in Southeast
Asia, a little more prepared, I think.
I was gonna say, since you're in Southeast Asia, how's the pulse there with all this virus stuff?
People take it very seriously. Well, people are pretty prepared here. In Asia in general, people like to wear masks for a bunch of different things. If they have a bump on their lip or acne, whatever, they'll wear masks. So masks aren't, they aren't looked down upon here. In fact, socially, if someone's sneezing, he's supposed to wear a mask to avoid giving a cold to somebody else. So people are very cautious. You go to the grocery store, everyone has a mask on. But there is definitely ample supplies of things, hand sanitizer, medications, etc. There isn't this hoarding aspect that has developed in the U.S. But also people were watching Wuhan. So from the beginning, everyone knew that there's this. There are a lot of Chinese travelers now. Things have changed in the past. 10, 15 years ago, it used to be Americans, English, Germans, Swedes, Australians that you'd find just hopping around. And you still do, but global travel has become dominated by Chinese. So I think they recognize that in parts of the world where they see lots of Chinese, and people were prepared for the virus to come, so they took precautions, etc. So it isn't spreading so rapidly here. It's also hot in Southeast Asia, which probably helps.
I thought hot was supposed to kill it. That must be bad information that I see.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I mean. It probably helps the fact that the virus isn't. Like I have friends in cold parts of Asia, in Mongolia, etc., and they're on total lockdown. I mean, people are just scared about going outside because it's so cold. They fear the virus might just live somewhere and not move. But in and in Malaysia right now, there's a little bit of an outbreak, but in Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar, things are relatively stable, I guess you could say.
So is there anything else I need to be paying attention to?
I think it's a very dangerous time for people to buy stocks on margin because the probability that they'll get blown out and be correct is very, very high. We could easily have a situation where the market has 20-30% swings in a 2-3 day period and then revert to back to where it was. So it's a good time just to get into cash. Also, there's this fear of interest rates going negative. So people are going to have to decide what they're going to do if they have to be charged money to keep it in the bank, to keep it in treasury securities, etc. Do they want to have more cash? I would recommend that everyone goes around and gets cash because around the world, ATMs are starting to dry up. And if there's a lockdown like there is in San Francisco, that means the banks are in lockdown. The banks will not be able to refill the ATM machines in theory unless there's like a crisis and the president comes in and says, hey, you guys have to fill the ATM machines, and they change it. But there definitely probably will be a physical cash shortage if the situation gets a lot worse. So it's a good idea to go get some cash, get your ample supplies and just stay there. And make sure you get some hand sanitizer. You know all this, but the raw material to make hand sanitizer, the home one, aloe vera gel, rubbing alcohol could run out as well. So just make sure you're fully stocked. And this is the disaster TV part of me talking, and you'll be okay.
That's the part. We've got to talk about that, but that's a whole other conversation for another time when I'm not actually talking to other people in the world. We don't want anybody talking about, stealing our ideas. I hadn't thought about negative interest rates, so I guess now, and I'll be up at 2 o'clock in the morning thinking about that, so I owe you a thank you for a sleepless night.
Sure, Jim.
Well, hey, I truly appreciate you hopping on from literally halfway around the world at a moment's notice.
Well, thank you, Jim, and be safe, everybody. Life is short, so enjoy it.
Thank you. If you have not, this is my homework for you. That is Andrew Nussbaum. He's been on this show 4 or 5 times back in the day. Go back and dig out his archives. We've talked time travel. We've talked stock markets. We've talked so many great things together. Me and Andrew Nussbaum. Always around the world. I've talked to him from Nepal. I've talked to him when he was in Tampa. I've talked to him now from Southeast Asia. I'm telling you, there's a treasure trove of information from that guy right there on all sorts of things. And he is just one of the best guests in the history of the program. Welcome to the Malliard Report. Who do I got with me?
Well, yeah, you had him on, and then I had to come in. It's Brian. How are you?
Pretty good. Okay,
hope you're doing well in PA.
I am. So
yeah,
turn down your player in the background because this is like radio, and I don't want to hear it.
No, that's my wife in the background.
Oh, well, never mind then. Okay. So I get the feeling, because we're at this point in this program where we've got about 4 minutes left, okay? So what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to flip the script, and I'm going to ask you for your program promo and all that stuff up front, and then we will talk right through this, and whatever, I'm going to try to guide it so it doesn't end on a big, nasty cliffhanger. But we're going to hop on the video and come back with the audio is just going to keep going. But I'm going to only post the hour as a podcast. So we're just trying to time manage your produce live as this goes. So give me the promo for for your show.
Okay, so for my show is Nobody But Me, Noble Boomy, and Inside the Goblin Universe, all found on Podbean, InsideTheGoblinUniverse.podbean.com. That being said, I got 20 years in Wall Street. So this is, look, I don't got the cash for it whatsoever. It's killing me that there's 0 interest rate right now because I would be buying up stocks left and right. Hold on your 401ks. Don't freak out. This is going to pass. It's going to take a little bit of a while, and then when it does, it's going to surpass. This is going to blow the doors off of a lot of people. Your 401k is going to be fine regarding that. Something I did look up last night, talk about your archives, great archives, by the way. Everything's there on the Malliard Report.
I think on the prediction show in November, I think I kind of predicted something like this.
I believe
The
so.
fact that everyone
You
was
told
so-
me this the other day, and I did not go back and listen because, well, other things.
Okay, so basically, the whole principle was, and it was a little bit about the U.S., but it's globally. People are so ingrained in their own little camps, be you on the left, on the right, whatever. There was no way we would ever be able to come back together like we normally do after a conflict unless there was a global catastrophe, I said. I feel this is going to be a global catastrophe.
That sounds familiar.
And I did allude to that. I did not predict that it would be a virus, and something that's very interesting because I do have my own little connections. I really wish Dave was here, Germantown Run. But, that being said, I have people that used to do stuff for the government relating to biochemicals and all this other stuff. This is a class 2. And the reaction we're getting right now is so unlike the reaction we have. There's no reason for it. We didn't do this during the bird flu. Why are we doing it now? So I don't know. It just seems like there's something more going on around this. And so wash your hands, be safe, keep your medicines going, stay fluid. If you do get sick, you can come through this. You can beat this. It's the flu. Bed rest, probably 7 days. If you don't, you got to keep hydrated. If you don't have the hydration, you can make your own, like Pedialyte or Gatorade. It's going to taste like crap, but make it. A teaspoon of sugar, teaspoon of salt, 8 ounces of water, and keep drinking gallons of that as much as you can. That will keep you hydrated if you don't have some kind of a Gatorade or something else to put in your body. Apparently, ibuprofen may be a big problem for people. Don't take that. If you can get like acetaminophen, Tylenol, whatever it is, take that instead. This may aggravate the virus. It's unclear yet, but you can beat this. This is the flu, people. I think this is the same thing.
Push and pause for 25 seconds here so I can wrap up this
Sure.
first hour. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to thank the great callers. Like I said, this will be on YouTube and Facebook and Periscope infinitely going forward. I'll make sure it's in the link for the podcast as well. Just a little different. There's a number of reasons I'm not letting the full length show go out. We can get into that here in a second. Okay, there we go. There goes the first hour into the history books. Now we're kind of, I don't want to say we're off the record, but we aren't off the record totally because it's obviously going to be out there. But for the podcast's sake,
right,
we're off the record. I'll explain why right now. It's just a storage thing. It's a tight production thing. It's an hour. It has been an hour. But I knew, talking to people all day today, that this was going to have to be the model because there's a lot of conversation to be had. So, come up with some air there, Jimmy. Okay. So back to where you were when I pushed pause. You were talking about homemade things and medicines and all that other stuff.
Right. So there's a lot of strain on everything out there. Washing your hands with soap and water. You don't have soap, use your shampoo. Another thing you can do as far as disinfectant, if you have toilet bowl cleaner, it's from Lysol. Dilute it with water, it becomes a disinfectant. You don't want to really touch that stuff directly. So there's a lot of disinfectants out there. Keep yourself clean. Stay the hell away from people. Practice social distancing, which is fine. Be, always cautious. Don't risk things. I've got a friend that used to say all the time, I licked it, so it's mine. Don't lick anything or anyone. If you can, go ahead, make babies. That being said, as far as medicines are concerned, there's been some reports about ibuprofen being aggravating this virus. There's no real full documentation behind it, but if this is what they're seeing, I highly recommend a Tylenol or acetaminophen. If you can get out now and get this stuff before it's too late. You don't want to not have stock of something in there. Again, dry goods. I mean, I'm in New York City. It's very real, very surreal. It's very weird. I know what 9/11 was like. I know what the blackout was like. This is just it's something that's, I'm kind of like enjoying the fact that we needed to just stop and breathe and slow down and know where our real priorities are. And it sure as hell isn't the Kardashians or your iPhone. It's you got to really collect your thoughts and say, look, there's more important things than what we've been doing in the past. So I'm kind of happy about that, but it's still a little creepy because of what we were all going through. That being said, I just want to just touch on one thing. There's been a lot of talk, and I have a lot of friends that are into this Q guy, okay? And I'm not going to go too crazy with this. I'm just going to mention it. I've listened to it. It's intriguing. It's interesting, but I've always taken it very skeptical and with a grain of salt. I like to take all the information in there. And for me, you need to prove it. You can say whatever you want. It's like, I guarantee you, Jim, after this event, there'll be book upon book or show upon show about all these people, how Nostradamus and his quatrains have predicted this. And they'll go, use hindsight being, 2020 and filling in the blanks where it wasn't, really there, just to make it look like this was supposed to happen. But that on the conspiracy side with this Q, there's a lot of stuff taking place right now that is too coincidental. The statistics alone on this are unimaginable. You couldn't do it. And it's just very interesting. You may want to pay attention to it because there's a lot of shit hitting the fan right now. And if this is the case and this is valid, and what's taking place is really to put an end to this New World Order and all the evil bastards in the world that are really hurting us than helping us, then so be it. Let it be. Because we're going to live a better life in a better world. And, I've been messaging Dave. I know he's busy doing his thing, but it's something definitely to look into for anybody that's paying attention and taking notes on this.
I will say this. I know you. Now we'll talk about it for just a second. I'm gonna skim across the surface. Okay, if it is true, I'm glad people are documenting it now, so later it becomes, as Cisco would say, conspiracy fact, right? Right now we're just gathering so much data these days, right? Like I just told you guys that I built a website solely for myself, and it's been picked up by a couple doctors around the world who are now using it for their news source about the virus, which is amazing to me. But God
bless.
Right? Very cool.
Yep.
I wish they'd let me talk about them, and I wish they'd call in, but nevertheless.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and can I just preface that by saying that yes, you own the website and you're putting it there, but you're not doing anything bad or malicious about it. You're providing the information, which is desperately needed. So kudos to you for doing that and thinking of that. This is not one of those situations where people just totally taking advantage of people.
Oh, no,
so I'm just saying you're not taking advantage.
I was going to
say,
I
appreciate that.
If you go over to the website, you'll see an ad for ad-free talk radio, and then you scroll down, and I've got one for the news commentary site, which is the other news site I built, and some links from my report. And you've seen a lot of junk bait sites out there where there pop-up ads everywhere and all that other stuff. Literally, this is like the cleanest site on the internet. There's not a lot of junk. Okay, it's done with the self-promotion stuff because that's not why it was created. The reason it was created is to be a resource tool, not a promotional tool. Which is hard for me to say, right? The marketing guy in you just is screaming at me right now. That's the worst idea you've ever heard. Right?
No, you know what? Look, no, I'm not, because I'm one of those idiots out there that I was just talking to a friend about this. I'm actually very happy when people are happy and they're doing well. I've sacrificed. I'm not Mr. Saint. I've made my own mistakes and I've tried to, correct them. But I literally will offer my help to anybody just to help them out. And this is, I like this. I don't think, the marketing guy is, I'm always thinking about ways to market things. But you could possibly market this somehow in a positive spin, like, coronavirus. Hey, it ain't Marburg. You can totally flip it. But you're not really doing anything to hurt people to make this a reality. Put it out there. So I'm fine with it.
Well, I guess I should explain why I'm doing it this way at this point, since the marketing guy's not going to yell at me. So I have to yell at myself, right? So I can explain. This is a value play, right? I want to be known as one of those. I don't want to be reprimanded by the New York Attorney General for selling fake virus products, right? You know who I'm talking about.
Right.
And I'd welcome him on the show to talk about that. And that's well known that I'd welcome him on the show, because I think we could have a good discussion about a lot of things, not necessarily beliefs, but anyways, pulling back up to where I was, not where I was going. If you want to be a trusted name, you have to have a trusted name. That's what this is all about. Put out good, get back good. That's all that. Okay. Now, enough tapping myself on the back for doing good things that aren't really good things, because it's just something that I wanted to see. Yeah. So, like I said, I put it up there for me. It's, because you could get lost. And like I said earlier with Cisco, you get lost in your own bias, right? You get lost in your Fox, your CNN, your MSNBC, your whatever it is. You get 100%. Lost in that. So if you can't open your eyes to other things, especially when it comes to something not shouldn't be politically driven. I mean, this is a well, I don't know. I'm trying to find non-polarizing terms here. This is something that should be reported accurately.
100%. And here's the problem, and this has really been getting me angry. I don't know about anybody else, but this event that's been taken, all I've been seeing on the Facebook and we're friends, and I'm putting friends in quotes, because some of these people that I've known for decades are just using this and pointing fingers, and it's his fault, and it's his fault, and it's his, if you're pointing a finger at this point, if you're playing politics at this point, you're part of the problem. You're no greater, you're no better than this virus. Okay? You're no better than the situation. We should be coming together as a community, a global community, and working to get this thing eradicated. Then you can start pointing fingers at whoever you want. But you're missing. This is like anybody getting mugged in the street and people taking out cell phones and videotaping it instead of doing something. Okay? Right. So the politics is being played here. And I'm going to play a little politics right now. For all those people, I live in New York City. I do not have any type of firearm whatsoever. Okay? Unfortunately. They just make it too difficult. That being said, for anybody that was anti-firearms or Second Amendment, this is the reason why everybody needs to know and be educated. I'm not saying just get a gun, go take a class, go shooting, understand this, understand weapons and how to handle them, and I think everybody should have one. Because right now, all those excuses, well, we just call the police. You can't call anybody at this point. It's you and your family, and that's it. And if you can't protect that, you're screwed. So I highly recommend learn lessons after this, exercise your rights, and do not let them take those rights away from you.
So now,
I had to go there.
I'm not going to yell. I thought about yelling at you, but I'm gonna step the game up another step at this point. Very, very flaming hot take inbound in 4, 3, 2, 1. Support people for the right to the Second Amendment. Agree if they should have a gun or not. Support their right to the Second Amendment. Also, here's the other. This is where the hot take part comes in. This is a First Amendment thing, right? Support people's right to... You don't have to agree with them, but support their right to say it.
Yep. I support their right to say it. I support their rights to say it and want it.
Even if they're acting a fool, all you have to do is click up there and say remove from newsfeed. And it's over. You don't have... I mean, I'm not necessarily directing this at you. This is a broader you right now, right? You don't have to sit there and engage the idiots, because when two idiots fight each other, nobody can tell the difference.
Right. It's just an ass-kicking contest with the same people. What I'm trying to say is this. It's not about don't do this or don't do that. I'm saying get educated. You know what? If you're upset about them or whatever, you don't know about them, educate yourself. Go to a range. Go take a class. Learn about it. They're scary. I still don't, I've fired them several different types of weapons. I go down to Virginia to visit my buddy, and we go shooting. It's unnerving having this thing in your hand that can do damage. But it's the same thing as when you first started driving a car. It's unnerving. You're like, I can do damage with this. Learn about it. Educate yourself. Get on task. And, you need to learn, educate, get used to it. Whether you want to keep one or not, that's your prerogative. But, you can't ban something you don't know anything about.
Right. I could get on board. I'm in Western Pennsylvania, right? Like, I know that I could open this window and spit on a hunter, right?
Pretty much.
Literally. Okay.
or bow on a hunter.
Maybe not tonight, but nevertheless. Okay. But I would be not directly opposed to a licensing program to own a gun. You have to take a test. You have to do this and that, right?
Yep.
That's not far-fetched. I'm not saying take the guns. I'm just saying, and I know that's not going to prevent gun crime because people steal guns, people steal cars. Okay, see right there. Really simple.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Why are you making me so angry?
You know what? I'm not trying to make you angry. I'm just trying to. I've been saying this to a lot of people. Like, please learn the lesson from what's taking place right now. Always have food. Always have supplies. I mean, everybody makes fun of all those people that are preppers, and they're laughing their ass off at all of us.
Well, and you don't have to go to that extreme, right? You don't have to have the 900.
Well, I'm just saying. No. I'm not saying 900 pounds of like pig fat, ready to feed an army. I'm talking about, they sell these packs, the 72-hour packs or 72-day, whatever it is, packs and survival packs that come with everything you need to last for like a week or 72 hours. You could do that. You could keep it. Doesn't hurt to have it in case of events like this. That's it.
Yeah, a lot of time go nuts.
It's like anything else.
Yeah, don't go nuts, but you can be prepared. As I'm sitting here as an Eagle Scout, right? Be prepared. It's the Boy Scout motto. Be
prepared, Mr. Eagle Scout. Yeah, I was going to say that. I'm like, you're an Eagle Scout.
So
always be prepared.
But don't be nuts. Okay.
No, you don't have. Look, people have insurance on their cars just in case. You don't want to use it.
Right.
People have these. You have medical insurance, like although we're all paying through the teeth through it right now. But like you don't want to have an operation or anything. But it's just there.
But you're talking to the wrong guy right now.
yeah, I know about that. But the whole thing is it's very frustrating because this could have been avoided. We've lost our way as human beings. I say be kind to people, be cautious, but be kind. Treat people a lot more nicer than everybody's having a hard time. You don't know what it's like in their shoes. Just relax. You're not as important as you think you are. Just be good, be kind, be nice, be helpful. Like Cisco was saying about the older population that can't get out during this crisis. Check on them. You don't have to open the door, no, don't open the door. I just want to make sure you're okay. If you need something, let me know. I'll go get it. If you can go get it, go get it. This is what it's like to be a human being in society. There's nothing about being taken advantage of. There's plenty of tough people out there. They're going to be taken advantage by being nice. So this is what's going on. I hope by come the summer, things are a lot different. But I think we're going to be looking at a 30 to 60-day hold period right now on everything.
Seems like, for sure. But if that's what it is, that's what it is, right?
Yeah, exactly. I take this time to read to your children if you have kids or your dog or your cat. Take this time to actually step outside and listen to the birds. Watch the sky. We've lost this. We've lost this ability to stop. Now we have to stop. Just enjoy life. Try to. I was talking to the good old doctor, our safety doctor there, and I've been chatting with him. He's doing things. He's lived where he has lived for like 18 years. He finally had neighbors stop by and to see how he is and what's going on, because people are so not used to chatting with people. One of my favorite places, people are going to hate me for this, is Chick-fil-A. Love that place. But what I love even better than that is all the young staff being forced to go out and drop your food off because they've never interacted with humans before without looking at their hand. They're so meekish. I'm like, hi, yeah, that's me. That's my order. Thank you. I put it down. No one knows how to talk to anybody without texting them. Guess what? We're in a new world now. You got to be nice to people. You can't just say what the hell you want and think you can get away with it. You got to be considerate, kind, courteous. Look out for your neighbor, your fellow man. And I'm not getting into the gender thing. Fellow man. As a generalization, people. So that's just a suggestion, but that's my 2 cents.
Hey, that's why you're here. Thank you, sir. Were you the one trying to call in earlier, or was there somebody mystery?
No. For some reason, I think it was Kat.
Oh, okay.
I want to think it was Cat, but I don't know.
Because
But
like I
I'm
said,
going
it
to go
pops
let
up
you
the
go back
same to
into the
me.
program.
It pops up the same to me,
Yeah,
so I
well.
have no idea who it was. But if they're out there listening still, Brian's going to be off the air here in about 45 seconds or so, I get the feeling. So now would be the time to call back in. So,
Yep.
thank you.
It's great.
Thank you,
I'm going to
Si.
go back to the duck pond. You got it. Be well, Brim. Bye.
And that's Brian Bowden from Inside the Goblin Universe and a bunch of shows there. So we'll get those taken care of. So I said this earlier. This show's for you tonight. This show isn't about me, which it normally is. That's why we're still live around the world. Picking up opinions from New York City, picking up opinions from Southeast Asia, from the flyover states to wherever we're going, from Newfoundland. So we've had a truly blessed international program here tonight. And that, if you're still listening to this video years down the road, that is what makes this show special. Truth, honest advertising, international listenership, smart people. That is why I do this show. So, you got a couple minutes left here to call in before I decide to end this bad boy, because I'm engaged, right? We're engaged in this process. As long as you're here, I'm here. If you're done, we're done. That's fine. Just saying, for the record. But while we fill some airtime as that cycles up for the universe, and people want to call in, 234-738-2552. Feel free to save that number in your phone, because that's the call-in number. That's the call-in number. You see it on your screens, put that in your phone. Anytime I do a live program, that's the call number. Also, if you got a voicemail, I haven't really promoted this in a long time. You want to let it rip, you leave a voicemail there. Think I did a great show? Think I did a horrible show? Light it up. If you want to text me, I've been thinking about this. I think I need to mobilize people via text messages. I think that's where it's going. I think tweets, I think text messages are the next hot thing. So if you want to text with me, that's where you do it. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily, I don't read them all, I don't get them instantly, but not yet. You guys start engaging on there, I might look at it a little bit more. Just saying for the record. A lot of great people in and out of the chat room tonight. Live radio at its best. So. Oh, okay, so let's do this. Moment of transparency here for another thing that I've done. 75 questions to ask before you start your podcast, wrote by me. It's a free ebook on Malliard.com. It's actually not on Malliard.com. You just click the link from Malliard.com. Been blown away by the success of this giveaway. Something that Johnny Malliard helped me write a couple years ago that I kind of just sat on for a while, and finally got up the urge to do it. It's helped a lot of people, and through the years, before it got out there, now it's public and it's helping more people, and you'll notice a trend. Now, if you're worried about the stock market and you just want your money to go to zero, you can invest in the Malliard Report, right? That's always an option. I can promise that's the worst investment you can make. All kidding aside, though, well, there's spots for your advertising if you're interested. Not really forcing the issue, but just saying. We could talk. Okay. I think that cleans all that up. Oh, you should go over to duckpond.shop. Wait, duckpondshop.com. Let me get that right. I looked at them both, that's why. Buy a t-shirt. I seen a picture of one of my listeners who bought one. Phenomenal. Can't thank the people over there enough for helping me out with that project as we start bringing back apparel to the program as well. Go over, check out the Duck Pond Shop, buy a Malliard Report t-shirt, buy a conspiracy t-shirt. Cool stuff. More about that going forward as we finalize some other details about other things. But right now, go buy a Duck Pond shirt. I guess it's just the Malliard Report logo. Haven't got the Duck Pond shirt done yet, but one day at a time. Okay. Give it a couple more minutes here. We'll wrap this bad boy up at 10:30 Eastern if nobody else calls in, so that gives you about 8 minutes to call in. So don't be fearful. We don't even have to talk Corona. You can talk whatever you want. We talked a little sports with Chuck Banks earlier. We've talked all sorts. We talked the stock market. We've talked Corona. We've talked being a decent human tonight. I am just memorized. Memorized? No, memorized isn't the word I'm looking for. What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, anyways. just in awe of the people that listen to this program. There we go. Awe. That'll be a good word. Just, honestly, grateful for everybody. Being able to light it up from coast to coast to all around the world just blows my mind. Humbled as usual by this interaction, this participation, these moments. So, I want a heartfelt thank you for all of that. I appreciate y'all. Okay. Trying to keep it together because it is an all moment, right? Not to dribble on about how I feel about you all. You all know how I feel about you, but to see the success that continues to happen with this program, day in and day out, if it's being listened to in all these different countries in the world, being respected by research scientists, to being in places like, I don't know where it is tonight, but being in like the top 100 news commentary podcasts in Ireland and Australia and all these other, like a bunch of places. It varies from time to time. Even being top 10 in Thailand, which just blows my mind. For just a minute, right? These rankings change from day to day. So I'm not sitting here bragging that I'm a current, but just to be top 10 in the world in news commentary tells me something, that I'm doing the right thing. Now, would I prefer to be top 10 in the United States? Of course. But you got to remember, to be somewhere that I don't know anybody, I could not name a single soul that lives there, and to be that well represented is just, man, you don't understand what that means to me. You just don't. I know there's a bunch of hosts listening, and I'm sure they feel the same way. You just don't understand the power of those type of things. I mean, honestly, I always reflect back to those first few shows when it was seriously just me, a microphone, and talking to 2 or 3 people. Seriously, that's all there was. There was no podcast. There was no... Actually, when I started, when we were done with it, when they were done with the programming that night, that server went off. Like, there wasn't even 24/7 streaming when I mean, there was, but my network didn't have it. Let's not be totally crazy. To then now having my own multiple stream front, multiple website, multiple this, multiple that. It's a lot to manage, but it is successful. Mind-numbingly successful. And I owe it all to you. This is not me. This is all you guys saying, I want to consume this content. I want more. I want more. I want more. How can I get you more? How can I get you more of the paranormal stuff? How can I get you divided up? And how can I get you more of what you want focused? That's what I'm saying. That's the key. Get you what you want, how you want it, when you want it. Worldwide, 24/7, all day, every day. It still blows my mind, based on math, that somewhere in the world, at any given point, somebody's listening to my show. I've seen that number, and it's like, depends on the day, but there are times that you divide it out, and it's like 4 people, based on the show being an hour, should be listening to your show. 4, I mean, it's not a great number, right? I mean, there's probably thousands of people watching whatever show. But for a guy who has literally put less than $100 in advertising through the course of the almost 9 years the show's been on, to realize, to launch it out, to bootstrap it legitimately the hard way, to being heard worldwide, there's nothing better. I can't explain it to you. So as we're looking at the time here, we're starting to wind that clock forward. So last call, so to speak. If you want to get it in, now would be the time to get it in. 234-738-2552. It's not about me being successful. Obviously, it's about the show being successful. And I know that sounds counterintuitive. It sounds like the same thing because my name's on the show. The show is the key to being. I want the show to be successful. I don't want to be successful. And there are people out there who know the difference and know what I'm saying. The show has been wildly successful, and I haven't changed, and that's the key. I don't get recognized at Walmart. Thank God. I don't do events. I know I should. I'm going to go on a run of doing interviews in the next few months, and I'm going to do a bunch, and you're going to get tired of hearing me from other places. But people are asking, and I can't, in good faith, sit here and say I shouldn't do them anymore. I need to do some, so I'm going to do a bunch, and then I'm not going to do any for a while. Like I've done a very few in the last 6 months, partially due to the medical issues, and partially because I didn't want to do anymore. And so now I'm going to do a bunch, and then I'm going to go back into hiding for 6 months. And if you're out there listening to this right now as we approach 2 minutes left in this program, and you're a guest on some of these shows, you need to listen to that. Do a bunch, 2, 3, 4, and then disappear for 6 months. That adds value to your name and the interviews you do. If you do 8 interviews a month, every month, you're going to burn out your listener base, especially in the paranormal, where the wealth of shows isn't as big as people think it is. There's a couple hundred paranormal podcast radio shows, right? Let's be honest. But most of those people make the rounds and listen to a bunch. So if you can limit yourself and just do a few here and there, people will listen to you more. I know it's hard to hear. Nobody wants to hear it, and that's probably why nobody will hear it. But for those people, maybe that one person that hears me and says, you know what, he's right. Put more time into writing and researching and all this other stuff, and then come back out with a fresh product, you'll be a much better guest for it. There's your, let's see, I don't know, ad-free talkradio.com final thought. If you haven't been there, you should come over there. It's a great site. A lot of great sites I've built over the last few months. It's just been, man, I can't thank you all enough for the guidance and the wisdom and the support. Because without you, there's no show. Well, there is still a show. I'm ego enough to believe that I like doing this enough without all the listeners. But I know if the listeners started drying up, I'd dry up too. You guys make it special. You mean the world to me. I want everybody to just stay safe. Looking forward to seeing you again next week. Malliard.com, Malliard.com. Subscribe. Tell your friends. Thank you, YouTube and Facebook. Talk to you soon.